My name is Davies. I am the content team lead at Weights and Biases. Weights and Biases offers machine learning operations tools as well as LLM ops operations tools. So basically helping machine learning engineers and practitioners using LLM APIs and using API calls to create apps and those sort of things. What we did early on was more I'm just going to call a spade here because we're going back about 4 years. We're really early tests at mostly automated systems. Expanding from that, however, I selected a contractor before PGLS. Based on where we had come from, I was like, great, because when your bar is really low, then you don't worry. It's just like, okay, well, that's better than what we've got. Got some of our technical issues on our side put in place to help support multilingual support in our articles area. And then all of a sudden we started driving traffic for it. So from there, then I started really caring what it looked like. Resumed the hunt again. We also had, I had some of our international team actually starting to proof it, and they're like, this just isn't great. Yes, it's better, but it's just not great. Resumed the hunt again, and then was fortunate to find PGLS at that time. And then when I was having PGLS's work proofed by the teams, and these are machine learning engineer teams, there was minimal edits required. And this is I'm sure listeners can imagine, this is a very technical thing. Finding a translator who could work well with that at the technical level and also be willing to ask us questions and ask for feedback, here's a weird nuanced way of wording this. Should we use this or this, right? And it's in Japanese where there's a couple different symbols that it could be, and right, that sort of thing. It was really helpful. And then creating the translation history, which also was very valuable because we could then proof that and go, oh, okay, actually we can see where the changes need to be made, or we can see where there might be if this, then that's right, because we didn't catch it in that first article, but a gotcha is going to be if we're using it like this, it goes different. Anyway, so just that sort of attention to detail and actually asking us the right questions at the right time and making sure that it's right, and then taking the feedback from us where we've had to make some changes and asking for that feedback has resulted in there was minimal changes required at the beginning, and just each time there's sort of less and less changes required. Now, what might be interesting to listeners, if people want to know, hey, how are you judging basically what's the ROI? What is my cost per view? So I know we've produced, it's very costly to us to produce a piece of content, right? We have machine learning engineers on staff producing this, they're doing other stuff with it at the same time, but that piece of content was a heavy lift to produce. So then getting it translated, how many pennies does it cost to get a visitor over a year? Was sort of my first measurement. I know it was worth it when I was looking at, okay, we got X number of visitors. A visitor from Japan, I'm just picking a country, on average costs 6 cents when we get these pieces translated. Fantastic. That's one of the cheapest. I'm just picking one of the articles, just happen to have that. So cheapest cost per acquisition we can have from that area, specifically to targeted content for their machine learning engineers, right? So great ROI there. After that, it became, okay, signups and product use. And that's where we really noticed the difference when we moved to PGLS, was increase the bar of the content. And now all of a sudden our cost per product user, all of a sudden we started seeing those increases. But you guys have also done translations for us on white papers, which are performing very strong, and this is into Japanese, very strong on, we use those with our sort of other marketing efforts. Those aren't an organic play, those are through other marketing channels. And it goes, they've performed very well as collateral, and also helped us with some signs, which also signs, we go to conferences and we have native speakers in other locations in the Middle East and Europe, and when you're putting up signs, you probably shouldn't have those in English, right? Like when you're putting up like a booth sign or something like that. Well, the company as a whole, like who I've ended up dealing with sort of like over time has changed from time to time, right? Just like as happens when you have a long-term relationship with a company. Anytime there's been, it's only happened a couple times, this is going to happen again in long-term relationships. Anytime there's been hiccups, they've been dealt with fast and to my complete satisfaction. I came from running an agency for 15 years, an SEO agency for 15 years. I know no matter how good you do, you're going to hit issues. The measure of a company is how they deal with them. Quality of service is, or I mean, the actual quality of the deliverable rather, is important. When you back that with support, and you back that with just making my life easy so I don't have to think about something else, which like has an enormous value. You know, when you add those things in, that's why I don't bother looking to find out if there's somebody else who can do the same. That's why I wouldn't look to see if I could get it a bit cheaper, because there's just so many value adds to this that just go well beyond just delivering a good product, which, as I know, you do. And if you didn't, I couldn't stick around. But when you add to that the level of service that I've gotten and the workload that I've watched it take off my plate because it's being managed properly on the side of PGLS, like I value my time. And now that's time I don't have to worry about. And I can just sort of go like, I sent it, it'll be back when it's done and it'll be good quality, right? Like, great. And I spot check them occasionally and have somebody in like a native language sort of like proof them and they go, yup, it's still good. And I go, fantastic. And off we go and we publish them. So yeah, I appreciate the work and I have no problem recommending you guys.